Let me point something out. Nigeria should be very careful, because when millions of people put their hope, their frustration, their anger, their expectation on one voice, that voice does not just become influential. That voice also becomes a target. Think about it. Today, it is very dark man. Tomorrow, it can be somebody else. But the real question is not even about very dark man. The real question is, why are millions of Nigerians waiting for one man to carry the voice of a whole nation? I am saying this because whether you agree with him or not, very dark man represents something bigger. He represents a voice, a loud voice, a questioning voice, a disturbing voice. And in every society, voices like that attracts pressure. That is not new. But listen carefully. A country of over 200 million people should not depend on one microphone. That is dangerous. Because if one voice is attacked, silenced, tired, discredited, or removed, what happened to the millions who handed over their voice? Look around Nigeria. People are being beheaded, unalive, in places like Benue and Plateau. Families mourning, communities attacked, villages displaced. People react online for some days, then everybody moves to the next topic. Look at what happened with the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital. A hospital, a place where people are fighting for their lives. A place doctors, nurses, patients are supposed to feel protected. Then suddenly, you hear EFCC operatives storming a teaching hospital. Tension everywhere. Doctors protesting. People asking questions. What happened? Forget who is right or wrong for 1 second. The disturbing part is this. When fear and chaos enters a hospital environment, ordinary people lying on the hospital beds are the first people at risk. That should concern a nation. So this is not me saying protect very dark man because he is perfect. No, nobody is above criticism. Nobody is perfect. That is not the point. The point is this: protect voices, create voices, multiply voices, because one broomstick is easier to break than a bunch of broomsticks tied together. Simple. If 200 responsible platforms spoke, if communities spoke, if citizens spoke, if creators spoke, if professionals spoke, if young people stop outsourcing courage to one person, it becomes harder to silence the conversation of a whole nation. This is where unity comes in. Because unity is not everybody shouting the same opinion. No. Unity is where people understand that some battles are bigger than personal camp. Because today, you may dislike the person speaking. Tomorrow, you may need the freedom that protected that voice. Think about that. Part of why I am speaking about Blackout Thursday is exactly this mindset. Peace, unity, love. Not passive unity, active unity. The kind that says, we may disagree, but we will not abandon each other's humanity. We will not wait for one man to carry all our responsibilities. We will stand together where truth, justice, peace, and accountability are concerned. And this is also why I suggest Blackout Thursday movement. Because awareness should not always mean risking lives or destroying properties. Sometimes people need simple, peaceful, visible way to stand against injustice, to stand for peace, love, unity, accountability, and remind the society that there are people still watching. Because here is the warning. When a whole nation keeps looking for one savior, the nation becomes weaker than it realizes. But when millions of people become responsible voices, silencing everybody becomes much harder. That is not politics. That is strategy. I wear black for peace, unity, and love. And maybe Nigeria needs less spectators and more voices.